What's happening, everybody? It's Spark, and welcome to the next episode of my MyTeam Career Mode series. Today, it's season 2, episode 7, where we are in Silverstone after turning up the AI and the strict corner cutting rules previously in the French Grand Prix. We decided to go back to the normal settings for corner cutting, but we're still going on with 105 AI. If you're liking the series so far, then do leave a like and comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well for more future gaming content. That will certainly help me make my life easy in producing these videos. But looking back now, just into the next season, what we're going to do, we've opened up the path for some more durability upgrades. So as you'll see on the screen, we are going to buy ourselves a durability upgrade for the turbocharger. So while that goes there, there's about 1,200 points to spend, so it doesn't leave us much left in the bank. And I'm seriously looking across the driver market now, thinking about who I can have as a teammate. I really want to get either Felipe Massa or David Coulthard. I'm probably going to have Coulthard, the man with the biggest chin in the entire world, to replace Dan Tickton, seeing how he gets on. But I think it's coming to a time where Tickton's time in this team may very well be coming to an end. I know he scored his first points out last time, but it hasn't done anything to help his focus, and I really need him to start delivering, especially if the car just gets faster and faster, because it's not long now really because I still want to get up to getting up to Ayrton Senna, but I'm not going to have a driver whose focus isn't quite there. And with our facilities, we could really get some opportunities based on our time with Coulthard, as we're going to see a driver situation here that we've got. So it's upping Tickton's driver acclaim, but lowering his experience, or choosing to do nothing at all. I know performance on track matters, but one thing that's really going to help us build this team is funds.
You handled that well. Thank you.
We are going to go with the extra driver acclaim, and fortunately Tickton's just going to have to take the hit on experience. I feel like already I'm such a harsh team boss already. But with that, we're going to go through the rest of the events and activities that we've got planned. Thankfully, it looks like all the upgrades that we have are actually going to go on the car without too much issue. And that's the events all done.
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
And that is exactly what we're going to need going into Silverstone, which is a track that I know that the AI are pretty damn fast around here. Like, how they're able to do what they're able to do, I just don't know. We're going to put on the different engine components that we need to, because the old engine is dying, but it's a good practice engine, so we're going to stick with that. And since we've done 6 races, we're going to replace the gearbox as well. As we go into practice, it was business as usual for us, so we managed to hit all the resource points that we've done before. It gives us a total now of 2,500 odds. So before we actually go into qualifying, I think we're going to take a look at the R&D board and see what upgrades we can put on the car. But there we're seeing lots more variance now in the department boosts. Now that we've given that facility upgrade to the durability side, and looking on that, knowing durability has got to go up, but hopefully I'll want to get to one of the departments to level 3 by the end of the season. We've got a claim up to 18, but I think I almost thought that my driver claim almost went down there for a second, so not good for us, especially when we've got to get to 15, which will enable us to get some extra driver perks. Not that we need that much, but driver perks are not the things that normally a lot of people don't invest in, but I think it definitely helps, especially with resource point generation. So looking at the development tree, we're seeing what we can develop, or hopefully we get the most bang for our buck. And with the durability section, it's still quite expensive, so we're not quite going to go down that route. So, but actually, no. Actually, I think we will. We're going to go down, I think, we're going to go down the ICE durability. That's going to cost quite a fair bit. And hopefully, it's just looking like we might do something here with the powertrain side of things. We got plenty of upgrades what level 2 would allow us for the chassis element. So on the aerodynamic piece, we are going to hold our breath. Let's see if we're going to go for an upgrade on the Halo. Yes, we are. There's an upgrade on the Halo. So as you can tell when I'm recording this, I've recorded this so far back, I've now stopped and come back to it, and it feels like all the news. It almost feels like I've forgotten everything. So it has been a very busy couple of weeks for me, like in real life, because real life is obviously a pain sometimes. But I know I say this every time, but hopefully this should give me more time to make some more videos. But it's just been a very, very busy period in my life. But anywho, we're now off to see what qualifying holds for us for this British Grand Prix. And we have got a fault straight away, so we're not going to head out straight away. I want to see with this car, hopefully we can get, now that I've ramped up the difficulty of the AI,
looks like a leak
I think Q2 is what's going to be, that's what the realistic expectation is, and our qualifying Tictum as well is going to be a bonus for us, as we've just loaded our setup that, I tend to run similar settings across most of the tracks, but maybe that's something else I should probably reserve for another video, like how I really, actually, how I should go about particularly setting up a car. But as you'll see, there's still plenty of pace, and there's a lot of power that we're getting from this power unit. It's the Renault engine which is really pressing our car along to come down to Stoke Corner. We keep it in 6th, which does make the car a little bit understeery, but I think keeping the cars in high gears is how you really manage to carry speed through the corners. I don't know if you guys found that, but if you do, let me know down in the comment section below. But we managed to get through Q1 at least, but Tictum has beaten us by about 4 tenths. The AI really getting towards, I say, more the 23s. And they're just so fast around this track, and I'm struggling to think how I could even contemplate getting into the 24s. But we're going to go on board with what was my best lap. I just set a banker lap, as you could tell there. We're ahead of Tictum as we come down to turn 3. We brake quite early, but you've got to get that line right into that right-hander, because the understeer will really kill you, especially going into a left-hander such as that. We get on the power a little bit too early, and we lose a little bit of time coming out of the left-hander onto the Wellington straight, going down into the long left-hander of Loughborough. We keep it in 5th gear, but that does put us on the back foot in the exit. So maybe I just have to run this thing in lower gears so I can get the turn in. It does all cost me overall speed, but hopefully it will, maybe in future videos when I do the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hopefully that should help. We turn in very early as compared to the driver line into Klopp's corner. As we come down to the Maggots and Beggets section, we overshoot it a little bit, but thankfully we've gone back to regular corner cutting, so I don't invalidate a lap. And frankly, I don't know how the hell we're going to be able to do that, as for some reason Ricardo is harassing us as we're trying to set a lap. We brake very early and probably a little bit too much there through that corner, as having that car behind us really does not help. We're actually down on both our 1st and 2nd sector times. This is going to be, as you can see, it just goes to the delta, a small improvement, but as you will see, I don't think it's actually enough to get through into Q2, and it's not enough to get through into Q2 for us. However, we have out-qualified Tictum, so it is a positive nonetheless. I just haven't been able to get anywhere near Q3 range, even though people on the medium tyre, they could only do a 24.5. That was enough. I could only do a 25 flat, so nowhere near the competition.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
What? Bottas, Perez, Verstappen, or Hamilton as my chief rival? I'm nowhere near them, and the game wants to make the top teams my rivals now. What are you smoking?
Are you perhaps short of a marble?
But yeah, I think we're going to go with Valtteri.
It's always good to have a home crowd behind you, isn't it?
To be fair, that's kind of something that they would say.
You won't be starting at the front of the pack. Are you worried?
Well, I'm hardly a front runner anyway, Claire, so I'm not quite sure what else to want me to say to that.
Appreciate your time.
Seriously, what on earth are this AI on, man? So it's far from ideal from us as we go now into the race.
Great Britain then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula One World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Lando Norris and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel, the owner driver, Stroll, Tictum, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen, Russell, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Why am I always right next to Vettel all the time? He always just seems to be who's probably my chief rival of this series. But anyway, we're going to go for a half race distance now. All 5 lights are on in Silverstone, and we are underway. And it's a so-so start from us as we try to get ahead of Vettel. But Tictum absolutely sends it right in front of us, and that's a brilliant start rather from him. As we are going to go round to the outside, it's time to yeet and see what we can achieve. We go round to the inside, and we just overtaken Tictum and Vettel as well. And it looks like almost a little bit of contact there between Vettel and Tictum behind us. But we have got ourselves up ahead of them and behind Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, who actually who recently revealed their 2022 car, which didn't look too bad with the pink on it. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's go round the outside of Luffield as Vettel goes right round. They're really harassing us, and Tictum is falling back from us by quite a margin, it seems. We go wide, and it looks like, I don't know whether Tictum might have gotten damaged from the first little bit of contact from us, but that is not good for our teammate, whose focus is dwindling and dwindling for each race for no reasons other than poor performance. Got nothing to do with the way I've been managing his contract at all, but I'll leave you guys for that to decide. We come down to the outside of Beckett's, and Vettel is still right on the back of us as Tictum continues to drop back. We hang in behind Esteban Ocon, which is ultimately in about 13th place as we go wide, and that's our first track limit warning of the session as the Constantina starts the way. And this is a track though where the AI are very, very good. It's very, very hard genuinely to overtake, because it's not the best track actually to save Earth's energy as Tictum comes into the pits. It looks like indeed he has got damage, maybe from that first bit of contact. I imagine it is something as great as front wing, I'll have to change it. But we've got simulation damage on this mode, and as soon as you guys know from playing it, the amount of damage you get when it comes on is the tiniest bit of damage can throw you off so much. You lose about a second a lap from the tiniest bit of front wing damage. So that unfortunately sends our teammate all the way to the back, and that is not the session that he needed. So I don't know, it may have been down to me maybe turning in on him, and yes, oh god, this is so awkward. And you just see there that little bit of contact, which I don't know, maybe it just ricochets him into Vettel. Yes, so he almost like playing pinball. So we in self have actually put Tictum in a bit of a bad nick. So that's not really fair of us. Not really fair of us at all, really. I think I'm going to have to hold my hand up and kind of accept blame for that one. But as we come down to lap 6, and not really much change. We go on to lap 7. We are still behind Esteban Ocon as we lose the back end coming out that car. That's a chance for Vettel probably to pounce on us. It is so fast coming into the first corner. Vettel gets a sniff of an opportunity, but he doesn't quite make it stick, and he doesn't even send it for a lunge where he easily could have. He's close enough to do it. Open lobbies can attest to the ability to lunge in that particular corner, in that particular section. As we come up, we've got DRS thankfully on Ocon, so that protects us from Vettel. Don't think we're going to deploy much in terms of energy as we come round to the end of the first sector, the end of the Wellington Straight, as we hopefully catch back up to Esteban Ocon. And it's proving so difficult to overtake on this track. I'm giving it absolutely everything here, guys, but the AI are just so fast around the high-speed corners. There's not really much I can do to actually catch them up. As we go down to Cops, you see Esteban Ocon is right on the back of Yuki Tsunoda, and we're struggling even through Luffield just to make a dent potentially in the cars ahead of us. 105 AI is proving to be very tricky for me, and it's just shows you how much more practice mode you're going to have to do. And looking behind, Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari has had a moment. He's got a puncture, a left rear puncture on that Ferrari, so I'm not sure what happened there, but that actually elevates us up a place and makes it a little bit easier for us, thankfully, to score a point. And still nothing changed going into lap 10, and this is where the soft tyres were really starting to wear out, and we've got ourselves set on lap 11 to potentially come in and come in for a pit stop. But I think we are going to go a little bit risky, as Jeff confirms what we know. This high grip is starting to go off. But as we come down, yes, we're going to come into the pits a little bit earlier there, as we almost go into the back of Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. We're going to come in and make our stop and potentially undercut the drivers ahead of us. It's going to be quite close because, I mean, long story short, I had an incident in the social race in the IRL league where I did a Grosjean and crashed through into the pit lane, so I'm going to have to be extra cautious here, as Alonso has come out in front of us as well. We deflate the pits, but we have to wait, unfortunately, for Gasly, so that is going to cost us time. We lose about a second trying to wait for Pierre Gasly to go through in his AlphaTauri, so we're going to have to do even more work. As you can see just there, we're trying so hard not to lose the car, but we almost lose the back end just coming out of the pit lane. It's so tricky having to drive upright. If any of you obviously driving in the Portimao track, particularly on that right-hander, when you have to go uphill effectively and then go downhill, it's so easy to lose grip because of the change in undulation and elevation rather. But this is time for us to really make hay. We've got to be careful. I think our setup is quite understeery, but we're going quite high on the wings just so we can have the downforce in for the corners. But I think I'll probably run the front wing a little bit too high because it's really making me understeer on this track. As we come down to lap 12, I believe we've had one person come into business, and there you can see there, it's Esteban Ocon coming out of the pit lane. He's actually put on the hard compound tyres. We put on the mediums, so thankfully we've done just enough to leapfrog him, and behind we've leapfrogged Yuki Tsunoda as well. Coming in that extra lap has really made a difference for us. We have made it into potentially what I think is about 9th or 10th position on track, so we are in the frame to potentially score points. But with a 105 AI in a car that's improving quite a lot, should we say, I can't help but feel that I should be up a little bit higher. But I guess my skill level is kind of, or lack thereof, is kind of showing here. As the 105 AI is still very tough, so Silverstone is generally quite a hard track to win. But let's stay with Fernando Alonso, seeing if we can make an overtake on him and put an end effectively to El Plat. We are quite far behind, but thankfully we've got the DRS to cover. No, it's not Alonso, it's Gasly actually in front of us. I beg your pardon. We go down to the inside of Stowe, and we made the overtake work, as crucially in front of us Sebastian Vettel comes into the pit lane and puts on the medium compound tyres. We're just coming round to the back of the final corner now. It's going to be so close for us to see if we can overtake our chief rival Sebastian Vettel, who is coming out of the pit lane now. We're coming down the front. We're coming down the back straight. He comes out of the exit now, and where are we going to be in relation to the Aston Martin? He got out in front of us, it seems. Unfortunately, Sebastian Vettel has come out in front of us, so we have not been able to leapfrog our chief rival Vettel, but we are going to have DRS coming into the Wellington Straight. Is it possible for us to pull off a move here? I think we're going to be a little bit too far back, unfortunately, to make that one work. Vettel goes into the lead ahead of Bloodfield, and unfortunately we could not leapfrog our chief rival. But all things considered, we've won quite a lot because we have leapfrogged. We've stayed in front of Esteban Ocon. We've got Pierre Gasly, and we've got Yuki Tsunoda as well. So all things considered, we gained 2 places actually. Because we were in front of Esteban Ocon all the time, but we have got to pass our chief rival Vettel, and we've actually got quite a good exit coming out of the Beckett. We're close enough potentially to protect the mid. We're going to have overtaken everything activated. We go into Stowe just as we did on Gasly. It's so close there with Vettel trying to run him off, but there we go. We have done Sebastian Vettel on lap 13 of this 26 lap race, and now we have just got to hold on. Even though he's got 2 more laps of tyre life over us, he's coming back at us though, as you can see through the arrows on the screen. But we just about stay ahead of Vettel for now, coming down to lap 14. And that strategy could set us up potentially to score P9 in this race. Coming down to lap 18 or lap 10, I think that's the lap. Vettel is all over us. It goes down to the inside. We're just losing pace, unfortunately, as we come down to lap 18. Vettel seems to be hitting the stride, and the AI are just so powerful here. We lose the back end, and we haven't quite got the advantage that we need over Vettel. But I think it's only going to be a matter of time, actually, before the Aston Martin actually comes around to overtaking us. But we've got to hold on potentially for some points, because starting from P13, getting some points will be a great way to overturn how this race has gone. We haven't got the much of pace, and looking at the on screen, Daniel Ricciardo is retiring from the session. Yes, the McLaren pulls over to the side of the track, and that effectively helps us to that puts us up into 8th place, so we can afford to lose maybe 1 position maybe to Vettel. But coming on to lap 20, Vettel is still right on the back of us. We are doing such a hard job to defend, but just trying to get the car stopped over. I don't think we've got the setup right in terms of overall balance, because the MyTeam car is just evolving with every single race. Vettel is about 2 tenths behind us now, with DRS coming up into the Wellington straight. He's going to go down to the inside. What is he going to do? He lunges, but we keep the line coming around to the inside, and we go right round to the outside to block off the Aston Martin. And with that, we have gotten ourselves the position for now. But coming down to the end, as you see, tyre wear is coming up to a stage where we might be losing some tyre grip, even though it's only about 20% wear. But now onto lap 21, Vettel is so close to us, and Pierre Gasly is coming with him. There's going to be very little space for us to actually defend here as Vettel goes round to the outside. And there he goes. He's virtually a car length ahead of us before we get into Stowe. We're not going to let him have it that easily, but we barge into him and we get some damage.
You may start to pick up a little drag.
So there we have it, guys. Unfortunately, the side pods have taken some damage. It's not going to help with engine wear, and we might be experiencing a little bit of drag on the back of that as well. We're going to go to a slow mode just to see how that happens. If you look on the side, it looks like Vettel's front wing is actually damaged as well, but he probably wasn't expecting that lunge to come for us. I call it a racing incident, if I'm honest. I mean, I'll take the damage because it was kind of I put my car there, so I kind of have to accept some responsibility. So, yes, of course, Jeff, we try not to make the car any worse, but it's on to lap 23. And I really don't think that we're going to have the pace or the car underneath us really to keep Vettel behind for much longer. It's only 3 or so laps to go. But unfortunately for us, we just don't have the car or the setup underneath us. With the side pod damage as well, it's really going to overheat our car. And if you look out to see how Vettel close is, just how close he is behind us, coming into the back of Maggots and Beckett's. And with him, it's only about 2 tenths. That's all you need here to pull off an overtake. He's going to go round to the outside, and I think that's it for us. There's nothing more that we can do. And Vettel is going to try and get ahead of us, but no, we are going to fight him back yet again. Yet again, we're going to stop Vettel from getting the jump on us. And behind, I think even Pierre Gasly now fancies an overtake on Vettel, and he's gotten ahead of him. Could we do the impossible and salvage potentially P8 from Sebastian Vettel, who naturally now on the next lap actually overtakes Pierre Gasly? So it's 2 laps for us to go, and this is really where we earn our keep as part of this team, as part of this career mode series. 105 AI in Silverstone. We got 2 laps potentially to defend, and we it's a mountain of a job. Like, I'm not going to admit to being the best driver out there, admittedly. Like, I'm far from the best. But race pace has never been my strongest point, and with that, Gasly has already made up so much time in the first sector.
The car in front is 19.7 seconds.
As you heard from Jeff, Alonso has just dropped us. El Plan certainly in effect for him. But with 2 laps to go, we should be more focused on the AlphaTauri behind us. And Gasly is so much closer to us than we are to Alonso. And following us through Cobb's corner, he's just able to stay with us. And the AI is just so much more confident. He's on the hard tyres, admittedly, so he's going to have a little less tyre wear than us. But still, the AI are just so consistent through there, and we go wide, and that completely offsets our line. And just like that, Gasly gets ahead of us, and the AlphaTauri salvages 8th place, while we have still got a lap to defend from Vettel, who's come round to the inside of us here. Vettel down to the inside, but it's going to be so hard for him to hold off. And now Ocon is on the inside of Vettel. Hopefully that buys me the time that I need, because Vettel will surely be looking in his mirrors more than he's looking ahead. And yes, there we go. Vettel is trying desperately to defend it. Ocon go round to the inside. That's really going to help me out. That could buy me the time that I need. That hopefully... That's more than a second, but I don't think it is. No, I think Vettel's going to have DRS on us despite holding off Esteban Ocon. And there we go. That side pod damage for us is surely affecting us in terms of how much we can pull away. We don't have DRS, so that's about 3 or so tenths gone already in that sector. And with the tyres wearing off as they are, with damage on the car on the front wing as well, Vettel is slowly reeling us in, and already he is on the back of our car. Fastest laps have obviously gone through because they've obviously decided he's going to win the race. Max Verstappen comes across to win, so he extends his title advantage out there in the Red Bull. As there we go, behind us we have Vettel, who is so close. There's a whole train of cars behind me. I feel like I'm certainly the bottleneck within this particular train. Vettel gets the DRS, he goes to the outside just as Pierre Gasly did. He's made the move work on us, and Ocon fancies a piece of it as well. But unfortunately, we block him off. We go wide, thankfully no track penalty for us, but with Max Verstappen winning this Grand Prix, it wasn't quite the 8th place that we wanted, but we just holding on to P10. Whatever happens, it's a point scoring nonetheless against 105 AI at Silverstone.
Take care of the car on the way in.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
And with that, I think Lando Norris actually got on the podium as well, so well done to him. And with my rival being Valtteri Bottas, of course he's absolutely going to best me when it comes to the rivalry. And ticked him, unfortunately, I think he finished off about P16 there in total. We dropped to P7 in the standings, even though we scored that 1 point. And Dan ticked him, well, he's got his 2. I can't really take anything away from him because, unfortunately, it was my fault that we got that. And look at that. Look how mismatched. Look how weird that is. I mean, we're on 105 AI, but I think it's kind of going off where the car thinks where we are in terms of rivalry. But realistically, we have no chance, and I hope Codemasters fixes that for the next game. Team acclaim goes up, but we're not much gains for us actually in terms of driver acclaim. Tictum gets a little bit more driver acclaim as well, but for us, it's a bit of a strange race. We got all the goals that we have from the sponsor. I think you saw at the beginning of the video. I decided not to change any sponsors, so we're going to get the similar bonuses. The funds in the bank have gone up to 7.5 million. So realistically, what I could do, I could potentially say I could save the money and buy David Coulthard. Potentially as the next driver, but it really depends on how Tictum performs in the next race, whether I make that decision, because Coulthard is going to be oh no, he's a driver. He certainly had his talents in real life Formula 1, but unfortunately I don't think he was consistent enough to really take the fight to the big guns. Certainly a lot of talent in there in Coulthard, so hopefully I'm sending a favour to him. I know a lot of people love Felipe Massa, but I've got to be a fan of that giant chin. And as you'll see in front of the screen, we're just renewing another one of our sponsors. So with that, we're going to potentially stick with the ones. Hopefully, we're going to stick with the ones that we've got. So I think that's pretty much it for this, guys. Who do you want to see as my teammate for the next half of the season? Do you want me to stick with Tictum, or do you want me to go with David Coulthard? Do let me know in the comment section. And if you could leave a like as well and subscribe to the channel as well, that really helps me in terms of producing out some content. But that is it for this particular episode. We go to the halfway point of the season next time in Hungary. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Spark, you guys have been Brill, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.